Okay, so a couple things about your calculator in general. Okay, if you have a TI 83 or 84, it looks something like this. If you have like an Inspire, I would recommend getting the little attachment thing that makes it look like a TI 83 or 84 well. If you have anything else, I probably don't know how to work it, but I can Google it and figure it out. So I will do my best to do that if you come in and you ask for help. Okay. So first things to be aware of. This part of your calculator is like a normal calculator. Okay. But make a note. This button means subtraction, and this button means negative. If you don't know that and you're operating the calculator, it's possible some things will go wrong sometimes. Okay? Your equals button is your enter button. We'll learn some tricks and stuff like that as we go along. In general, all of the graphing tools take place up here. Okay? So today what we want to do is we want to create a scatter plot and we want to run a regression. So we are dealing a lot with statistics. And so you're going to see that a lot of the places we go to enter this stuff is in the statistics part of the calculator's operating system. Okay? So first of all, you need to get the data in your calculator. It may or may not already have some data in there, depending on when it's being used. So right here in stat is where we can go enter data. So we're going to go, that's where you enter all your data and do all your calculations. So we're going to go stat. You'll run tests in AP stat, and here you'll do some of the calculations. But most importantly, if you want to put in data right now, you would have to go to the edit part. Okay? So you go to edit, and there are all these lists. Okay? So a couple of things. First of all, if you scroll all the way to the top of your list, and listen very carefully, do not push delete. Okay? If you push delete, like some of you might be borrowing one of my calculators and it might not have like an L1 or something like that. That's because someone deleted it. You can restore the calculator back to its manufacturer base, but that's what will happen. But if you want to clear everything out of the list, like I do right now because I don't want these numbers, if I scroll on top of the name of the list, so my cursor's up there, and I press clear, and I press enter, it will keep the list there, but take all the numbers that were in it out. So I'm going to do that right now for each of these lists that have values in them because they're not the values that I want. Is that all right with everybody? Now what I need to do is I need to make two lists side by side, just like you see in your table, right? I'm basically making the X list and the Y list for the calculator in this list 1 and list 2 spots. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. In order to get a number in the list, you literally just type the number when you're at the spot you want it in the list, and then you press enter, and it will show up in that part of the list. Okay? So we're going to take a couple minutes, and we're just going to enter data. I'm going to borrow somebody's. And you would like to quit. See, the mode button has the blue quit word above it, so our second function, and then mode will quit from that. I want us to turn something on. Okay, so in order to get the equation, our data is all stored in there, okay? First, if you would like to see your data, like a scatter plot, the calculator can make a scatter plot for you, okay? So remember how I said the graphing buttons were all at the top? So notice for the graphing buttons, there's this one right here called stat plot. That's like if you want to plot the statistics, like if you want a scatter plot, that's where you want to put it. So we're going to go into that menu, which requires us to push the blue second function button, and then that Y equals button. And so these are the different plots. Notice that right now all of mine say off, meaning if I went to the graph, I would not see any of them. So I'm going to press enter on one of them. And once I'm inside, I'm going to highlight the word on and press enter. Then it says the type of graph I would want. We want a scatter plot, so we just want these points on the graph. So we're going to press enter on that. And then you have to tell the calculator everything to do. It doesn't know just because you made two lists that you want to build a scatter plot. So you need to put your X list and your Y list. My X list is my stuff I put in L1, and my Y list is the stuff I put in L2, so I'm fine with that. And the way you want it to mark the point on the graph, whether you want a box, a plus, minus, whatever. Okay? So now we're going to go ahead and quit this. We set it all up. So I'm going to quit again. Where do you think we go if we want to see a graph? Graph. So I'm going to press graph, and I don't see anything. It's very disappointing. How many of you guys do see something, and it's not what you expected to see? Okay, so do this for me. Go to your y equals button real quick. If anybody has used your calculator and typed any equation into there, then it's showing up on the graph and you don't want to see that yet. So clear any of those out. But notice that the plot 1 has like the highlighting around it. That's because I turned it on. That should be on. Okay? Now, the calculator will zoom for you the x and y axis to make it perfect to see your data. Where do you think we go to zoom it how we want to see our data? Zoom. So we're going to go to zoom. It gives you lots of choices. We're going to scroll down. And then there is a choice right there, choice 9, that says zoom stat. Meaning you're trying to look at something statistical and you want me to figure out the best window for that, I will. So go ahead and press enter on zoom stat and you'll get a picture of your data. Okay? Looks pretty linear, right? Like a line kind of? Okay. All right. Now what we want the calculator to do. I'm going to let you guys ask questions in a minute, but I got to get through it one time or else one, you can have nothing to refer back to and you won't finish, okay? So first thing, this is just the picture, but it's not the equation. We could draw a line that we think fits this well, but there is one line that is considered the best fit line for this data. And the calculator will find that for us, okay? In order to get that equation, first you need to look at it. What kind of equation do we think we're finding based on this data? It looks like a line, so I'm going to go with a line, okay? Go back to stats. Okay? And even if you didn't get your graph, but you have data in there, you can do this. This time we're done editing. I don't want to put a new list in. I want it to calculate something for me, so I'm going to go over to calc. And then notice it has all these ones that say REG at the end. That stands for regression. Regressions are when the calculator figures out the best equation for the curve to fit your data. That's what we want. But the calculator is not smart enough to know which shape you want to use. You have to tell it. Okay? So that's why it has all these different ones. We want to use a linear regression because our data looks like a line. So we're going to choose choice 4. Okay? So you can scroll down and press enter, or you can just press 4. Now, depending on the calculator you have, some of ours just look like this, and then some of you take you to a thing where it asks you for like the X list and the Y list and stuff like that. So where it asks you for the X list, just make sure it says L1 if that's where your data was, and then L2, okay? And then just go ahead for now and go down to calculate. If yours looks like mine, just press enter. Okay, so if you have the menu, just go down to calculate, as long as your data is in the right list. If yours looks like mine, just press enter. Yes. So notice it gives me some numbers. We're going to talk about the meaning of all these numbers tomorrow when we finish up. But what I want you to be able to do today so that you can finish this activity is get the equation. So Michaela's equation for her data is going to be y equals, it says ax plus b. But then it tells me what A is. A is negative 4.34. And B is 72.01. Okay? Don't worry if yours doesn't have the R squared stuff yet. Could you get an equation? So could you get your A and your B value? The other parts of it we'll talk about tomorrow. Okay? So the rest of this handout is for you to interpret the context of the situation and then make predictions based on this equation. Now that I have an equation, anytime Michaela says I tied 25 knots, I could plug it in and make an estimate of how long I thought her rope was. Or if she says, guess how many knots I tied to get my rope to be 60 centimeters long, I could plug in 60 centimeters here and solve this equation to try and figure out how many knots she tied. It's not going to include all the exact data points. That's not how it works, okay, for regression. It's just coming up with, if I have to describe her data, which is a little bit off here and there, by one function, the best function is a line, and specifically this line. Okay? All right, so your goal tonight, get the equation for your data and try to finish this